Hello everybody! Yabby Tabby here with something a little bit different than usual. So, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it on my channel before, but I'm actually a fan of the Warrior Cats books. And although I still keep up with them and read them, and I'm pretty excited for the River Star book in particular, I really hope that's actually going to be good, I am an even bigger fan of all the fan content. Maps, short videos, analysis, stuff like that. But one thing I've been particularly obsessed with recently is ClanGen. I was still debating on whether or not I should make it a Let's Play like other games on my channel, but the thing that really got me into the drawing side of it was a Galaxy Clan by Nyoko Arts and Creek Clan by Willis Cabbage. Those two and their amazing art and stories for their clans inspired me so much, and this is the reason I finally decided to make my own clan. If you haven't read Warrior Cats, I'll try to explain as we go through it, but I can explain some of the game right now. Basically, you create your own clan of cats and you send them out on patrols and time skip moon by moon to see what happens. A moon is a month in the Warrior Cats books, in case you don't know. It's a lot of fun. I will be going 1 year at a time and following the cats as they go through it. For those of you who know the game, I do have some settings on. Unmated cats can have kits, so can same-sex cats. Cats will also never retire due to a permanent condition, and warriors and elders can also choose to become mediators. I also have some personal rules I plan to try and follow throughout the series. All cats must go on a patrol every moon except for cats who had just had kits, and other exceptions if I decide on it. Apprentices must go out with mentors or another warrior if their mentor isn't around. As for patrols themselves, I'm going to try and go by the cats' personalities for if they would proceed or not. For example, a sneaky or troublesome cat may choose to cross clan borders to steal prey, but a careful or righteous cat would not. Finally, my policy for inviting new cats inside will change depending on the clan and which cat they approach, and also how many cats they have, because I have a finite number of hours on this earth and not enough hours to draw many cats at a time. Well, with that all out of the way, welcome to RubbleClan, and let's start with our StarClan guide, who I actually, kinda didn't speed paint. I was trying to figure out how to draw StarClan, and it was my first time drawing one, so you're just gonna have to look at the image for a little bit. For those who don't read the books, StarClan is basically kitty cat heaven. Non-evil cats who die will go there. There is a place for evil cats. We'll get to that later. StarClan is also where prophecies for cats come from. The game always gives you a StarClan cat to start with, and our StarClan guide is Furzbreeze. They died at 159 moons old, and since the game doesn't give them much flavor text, I decided to give them some lore that connects to other things happening in the story I'm building around it. Furzbreeze was originally a cat from a different clan that suffered a brutal takeover. He was a mediator but couldn't stop the new leader's harsh regime and was too scared to stand up to them. After their death, they found StarClan rather empty. A lot of their clanmates were too ashamed of what had become of their clan to stay and watch. He felt the same and left to wander as a ghost. But one day he saw a group of cats living in the mountains. They weren't a clan and tended to have their own territory each and kept to themselves, but seemed to live in general peace until an earthquake caused part of the mountain to collapse. He watched in awe as they, despite having no reason to, helped each other in the aftermath. Something drove him forward, and he allowed himself to appear before the gathered cats. He told them who he was and offered to help the kind-hearted cats become a clan of their own. Some cats were hesitant, but one cat, whom Furzbreeze felt looked familiar, vouched for him. After some discussion, the cats agreed to become a clan and chose Peachfleck to be their leader. He now watches over them from StarClan, hopeful that they will care for each other like a clan should. Fitting of their goal, they also gave Peachfleck a life for friendship, and told them to keep their heart pure and open to others. Oh yeah, I should also mention that leaders in the Warrior Cats books have 9 lives granted them by StarClan. They can die about, 8 times and still live to tell about it. Unless they get scourged. As luck would have it, our clan's StarClan is still empty. No deaths this year, except for Furzbreeze, so he's kind of just chilling up there by himself. So we can move on to our leader, the compassionate Peachstar. She and 3 other cats were the ones to first help others after the brutal earthquake. Despite her kindness, she was very uncertain about becoming a leader, and didn't know if she could handle it on her own, especially with a few cats being outspoken about feeling the same. It didn't help that Furzbreeze had initially offered the leadership to a different cat, who refused. That cat is her closest advisor, but refuses to even take deputy position at the moment. Which, for those of you who don't know Warrior Cats, the deputy is the second in command. If the leader is to die, the deputy takes over. She respects their choice, but that doesn't stop her stress. She spent a lot of time being indecisive about what to do or how to lead. She didn't want to be too stern, but also didn't want to be too laid back. She wanted to make sure the cats were safe, but didn't want to restrict them too much. She relied a lot on her first deputy to help take care of the clan, which eventually irritated them a lot since they weren't the leader. She also relied a lot on her closest advisor I mentioned before, and while they were happy to help, they also tried to point out several times that she's the leader. Her wake-up call came after she lost her first life. She had been patrolling on her own when she slipped and fell and landed in a badger's den. And the badger very easily took care of a single cat. After a traumatic experience like that, Peachstar became determined to protect her clan from such dangers and is much more sure of herself now. She is very open and welcoming to new cats, and just wants to make sure their clan is a place where cats can feel safe and provided for. Outside of her leadership duty, she's very close friends with 2 other cats I'll mention later, and also has 2 other cats pining over her, completely in love with her, but she's completely oblivious at the moment. More on that later. Now on to our deputy. I mentioned before that the deputy is the second in command, but they actually have other stuff they do too. They're in charge of creating patrols, and there's also a rule that a cat needs to have mentored at least 1 apprentice before they can become deputy. As for our current deputy, we have the careful Swallow Mallow, who is actually the second deputy for RubbleClan. They were a kitty pet, which is cat speak for pets, who was abandoned on the side of the Thunder Path, cat speak for roads, by their 2 legs, cat speak for humans, and found by Peachstar and her apprentice in the 2nd moon of the year. He was the first outsider to join the clan, and after recovering from his illness, struggled to fit in. Peachstar gave him an apprentice in the 4th moon, hoping that it would help him feel like he was providing for the clan. Despite having the great teacher trait, he has been kind of a messy mentor. He stumbled and struggled with initiating training, especially when he was still adjusting to clan life, and then their training was further screwed up when his apprentice got heat exhaustion a moon later, and then a moon after that, Swallow Mallow twisted their paw, and then after that, their apprentice had to be saved by another cat from a fox, and then after that, in the 9th moon, they got attacked by a dog and his apprentice was injured. While he did chase off the dog a moon later, Swallow Mallow still feels guilty about being a bad mentor, which is why it shocked everyone when Peachstar chose him as the new deputy in the last moon of the year. He isn't sure why he was chosen, but is doing his best to step into the role and try to calm his nerves and better his teaching methods. This faith from Peachstar is also why he is one of 2 cats who is currently madly in love with her, but he doesn't have the bravery to tell her yet. He wants to become a cat who is worthy of the position she trusted him with before he admits those feelings. Next up is our medicine cat. For those of you who don't read the books, medicine cats are the healers of the clan, as their name would imply, and are also the ones who receive prophecies from StarClan. There is also a rule in the books that medicine cats can't have kits, but I'm going to disregard that for RubbleClan. As for our medicine cat, we have Glowfalcon, who is calm, but also very stressed right now. Before the clan was formed, he was the only cat on the mountain with knowledge about healing, and initially offered his help in return for some prey. But during the earthquake, he couldn't stand by and watch cats die when he could do something about it. He was one of 3 cats who helped Peachstar, and turned down her offer to become deputy, instead choosing to be the clan's new medicine cat. He's very good at his job, but can't help but feel stressed, especially with the new StarClan dreams he gets. It's a lot to process. He's also not the biggest fan of kits, which has led him to be a bit snappy with the younger cats in particular. There's actually only 1 kit who managed to get past that, but more on them later. At the moment, he's currently very stressed due to his herbs going bad and a sudden green cough outbreak in camp, which is a type of illness the cats can get. It's not the worst, but it's not good. He's doing his best to keep it quarantined while also mulling over a prophecy given to him and his quasi-student. He has yet to bring it up with anybody, as he has enough to deal with when he has the outbreak on his paws and low stores to work with. He also has a crush, a small one, on another cat, which surprised me when I went to look back at relationships before making this video. But this cat also has kits, 4 of them, and he doesn't know how to deal with that. He has no idea how to deal with kits, so he's kind of just watching from the sidelines right now. There is actually a second medicine cat in camp too, who joined in Moon 10, the adventurous Sky Moss. She was quite the traveler before she made it to the mountain. She would use her healing skills to help out where she could, and especially to find places to stay when she needed to stop and rest. When she climbed the mountain and found the clan, she decided to stick around for a while. She was grateful to be allowed to join and happy to put her healing skills to use, even if she did feel a little odd being older than the head medicine cat. But later that moon, she realized she was expecting kits. Despite her protests, Glowfalcon quickly pulled rank on her and made her move to the nursery. This actually wasn't because of his dislike of kits or anything. He didn't think that she couldn't work, but instead it was because she was actually on a patrol with one of the cats who came back to the clan with Green Cough after that patrol. So he's doing his best to keep her safe. He didn't want to risk her or her kits getting sick. She should give birth to her kits at the start of next year, and has decided that the clan may be a permanent home for them, even though she was planning to leave after a while. She is looking forward to being a mother, but she still can't help but feel guilty when she sees Glowfalcon rushing through camp and being stressed and exhausted. She wanted to help, but she knows he would refuse it, and she also worries about her kits too. She's decided that after the outbreak is over and her kits are weaned and she's back to work, she's going to force him to take a break. He definitely needs it. And while she can't force him to take a break right now, she can have his quasi-student keep an eye on him for her and make sure he's eating and sleeping while she's in the nursery. The next cat is the ambitious Silk Creek, who has not really had a good year. Although she joined the clan as a warrior, she felt like she should have become leader instead of the inexperienced Peach Star. She was pretty open about this opinion with the rest of the clan, always talking about how she had way more experience and would have been a way better leader. But whenever Peach Star came to her for advice, she was also petty and refused to give any. Then, near the end of the first moon, Silk Creek slipped and dislocated a joint. That was rough, but understandable on such rocky terrain. Then, in the third moon, she recovered, and then in the same moon, slipped and dislocated a joint again. The status updates were literally one right after another in the game. I think this experience really humbled her, as she was stuck in camp for quite a while, and got to see up close and personal how much Peach Star was trying. She was also there when Peach Star was recovering from the trauma of her first death, and she realized just how much responsibility being a leader is. She respects Peach Star a lot more now, and is trying to be more helpful than spiteful. As of right now, she's currently sick with white cough, which thankfully isn't as bad as green cough, but that means she's back in the medicine den again, which she is not having fun with. She's pretty upset about it, but at this point she's so used to it that she just joked that she's surprised Glowfalcon doesn't have a nest ready for her at all times. She's doing her best to rest and look after the two green cough cats, and hopes that she doesn't get any sicker, as she wants to be back on her feet and back out on patrols as soon as possible. Our next cat is the bloodthirsty Tigger, who joined the clan in the very last moon. Much like our deputy, he was an abandoned kitty pet who was left on the side of a thunderpath due to his illness. He is sick with green cough and is also furious with his two legs. He tends to flip between grieving for his lost home and cursing two legs of any kind. He's also in quarantine for his illness, which means that there's not really many clan cats he can talk to. He's kind of been on his own since he first joined the clan, and he understands it's because of his sickness, but it doesn't make him feel any better. Despite Glowfalcon's treatment, he isn't sure if he's going to get better, or even what to do if he does. After all, this new clan, even though they took him in, is so completely different from the life he had before. Nothing is the same as it was before for him. The only thing he really knows for sure is that if he does recover and stay in the clan, he's requesting a name change from Peach Star as soon as possible. He doesn't want to have any ties to his old life. Any love he had of two legs is long gone, and he wants the name to be long gone too. He wants to believe the clan could be his new home, but he doesn't dare hope until Green Cough is gone. I'm hoping he pulls through, because despite being bloodthirsty, I feel really bad for him. He has been sick a lot longer than Swallow Mallow was when they first joined the clan. I actually still haven't chosen a warrior name for him, mainly because he's joined so late that there's not really much to say about him, but also because I'm not sure if he'll survive. But if he does, I would like to hear what you guys think. What kind of warrior name would he pick? What do you think? Let me know. The next cat in the clan is the ambitious Trickle Blaze, a former injured loner who joined the clan and thrived very quickly. Unlike Silk Creek, she seems to really respect Peach Star, and her ambition seems a little less selfish. As of right now, she just wants to be the best warrior she can be, and has already proven herself time and time again. She's the one who rescued Swallow Mallow's apprentice from a fox, and came out of the battle unscathed, which she bragged about relentlessly. She's a great hunter too, especially when it comes to rabbits for some reason. Every single time she gets a prompt for a rabbit, she gets it. But for the past few moons, she's been doing her best to help the medicine cats with gathering herbs instead. She loves living in a group of cats that care for each other, especially after being on her own for so long, and she wants to do her part to help anywhere she can. She's a little less scared of the idea of cats around her dying, though. She's spent so long on her own that stuff like that hasn't really affected her. She's never really had a group of people that she's been so close with, so the idea of death kind of freaks her out. Even if they do go to StarClan, she still doesn't know how to handle that. Because of this fear, she's one of the first cats to volunteer whenever a medicine cat needs to gather herbs. Despite this, she also seems to have a bit of dislike for Sky Moss, even though she's barely talked to her. This has a lot to do with the fact that Sky Moss showed up offering her healing skills and then immediately had to move into the nursery. She feels like Sky Moss showed up at the worst time and just made things more stressful for Glowfalcon, because now not only does he have an outbreak to deal with, but a kidding to deal with in the future. She does keep this opinion to herself. She just doesn't want to put any more stress on someone, and she feels like if she brings up this opinion, it'll just cause a lot of tensions in the clan, which they don't need right now. And she tries to make sure that they know that she's ready to help if they need her. Next up is the fierce bubbling Tumble. She was a kitty pet who decided to leave her kitty pet life to join the clan. She couldn't help her curiosity when the other kitty pets were talking about the rumors of wild cats in the mountain and knew she had to see it for herself. As soon as she got there, she knew the clan was for her. She found great company in the form of the cats there, especially her fellow ex-kitty pets, Mallow and Peachstar, who was the one who invited her to join. Her fierce nature has helped out a lot on patrols. She's chased away a gray fox to steal its prey, and has chased off a rogue as well. She also is the one who invited Sky Moss to join the clan. Despite all of this, she's also a bit of a goofball. She has accidentally followed her own paw prints when trying to track somebody before realizing it was her, but thankfully she was alone and nobody saw that. Something they have seen, though, is her constantly forgetting other cats' names. She tends to stumble over them, and it makes her very embarrassed. A big important life since she joined the clan was when she was hunting and came upon some two-legs that were at the base of the mountain. She stopped for a little while and stared at them, thinking about her own past as a kitty pet, before realizing she didn't really miss it as much as she thought she used to. She realizes how much she loves the clan, and she's much more sure of herself as a clan cat, especially with all of her new friends that she can see as family as well. She's doing pretty good this year, especially after that realization. But the one thing her fierceness hasn't helped her with is her love drama. She is actually the second cat I mentioned who is nursing a crush for Peachstar. She is nervous about confessing, especially because she knows Mallow has a crush on her too. She's trying to work up the courage to confess, but she isn't sure what she would do if she did, or how to handle it. All she really knows is that she wants Peachstar to be happy, and if that means them staying friends, then she's fine with that. Our next cat is the Careful Dash Nudge. He was one of 3 cats to help Peachstar during the earthquake and is her closest advisor. Breeze offered the leadership position to him first, but he turned it down. When questioned about this later by Peachstar, who was feeling very insecure about being a second choice, he revealed that the reason that Breeze had chosen him first was because Breeze and him are actually from the same clan. But he really has been very tight-lipped about why he left his old clan. The look of pain in his eyes whenever somebody tries to bring it up is enough to make most cats drop the question. Despite his secrets, he is a very loyal RubbleClan cat and is thorough in teaching the clan culture to the others. He is a very good speaker and also very, very beautiful. I swear, every single month I would get a notification saying that one of the cats was jealous of his pretty fur. Peachstar didn't help with that either, because she's actually the one that gave him the blueberries he wears in his coat, and he wears them proudly. He's also an amazing mentor, and proud of how far his apprentice has come. They're still very close, and he's basically adopted the young cat. The most significant thing that happened to him this moon, besides that, was him showing up to the clan after a few days missing with 4 kits! 4 kits! Rust Kit, Serpent Kit, Posy Kit, and Timber Kit, which are with him in this photo. It seemed right since they're only a moon old. He hasn't really talked about where they came from, but it's pretty obvious he's the dad. I mean, Serpent Kit and Posy Kit basically are his clones. They're only a moon old, but he absolutely adores them. He's admitted to Peachstar and a few other cats that he didn't have the best childhood, and wants to be the best father he can be for his kits, adopted or otherwise. He currently spends his time in the nursery looking after his little ones, and is doing his best to help Sky Moss prepare for her own kits. Although it's only been a year since RubbleClan truly formed, he already feels more at home and at peace here with his new clan than he ever did with his birth clan. Even with his pride at being a RubbleClan cat, he still holds the secret of his past close to his heart, and is unsure if he'll ever be ready to tell the full story to his clan. Next up, it's time for our younger warriors, starting with the shameless Cinder Glint. She is the granddaughter of one of the elders, and lived in the mountains with her before the earthquake. She was excited about the idea of joining a clan, especially with her best friend. She's also pretty proud of being the leader's apprentice, even though the clan had literally just started. As a kit, she was also the bane of Glowfalcon's existence. She annoyed him by taking the dried herbs he had just thrown out and using them as decorations in her pelt. She and her best friend Bluepaw were also a troublesome duo who always got into trouble, including bringing back fleas, which just got her another lecture from Glowfalcon. Despite her shameless and goofball attitude, she does care for her clan a lot, and pushes herself a little too hard when trying to help them. This stubbornness came back to bite her during a leaf bear when she was on a patrol searching for herbs and she came home shivering. A little while later, she was one of the first cats to fall ill with green cough. She doesn't let this get her down though, and she enjoys teasing Glowfalcon and visits from his quasi-student. She hopes she'll recover soon as the dreary mood in the den is bumming her out, and she really wants to play with Dash Nudge and Sky Moss's kittens and frolic again with her bestie. Our next cat is the loving Blue Ears, who is Cinderglint's best friend. Her personality as an apprentice was strange, and she spent several moons staring at her mentor without blinking just to mess with him. She was a chaotic apprentice. Although she has matured into a loving cat, she's still a huge goofball. She was injured in the earthquake, but patched up by Glowfalcon, and grew an interest in medicine cat duties from there. He was annoyed by her questions until he realized that she was actually really interested, and he quickly took her under his wing. Despite her interest in herbs and Glowfalcon's approval, she chose to become a warrior apprentice instead, but she also asked Peach Star to be allowed to learn about herbs and healing as well, which was approved. It seemed that it was also approved by StarClan, as she got an intense StarClan vision the same moon as Glowfalcon. She's also the only young cat he tolerates, and she looks up to him and her mentor Weasel Knight a lot. She is also harboring a small crush on her best friend Cinderglint, but is really worried about her due to the green cough illness. She's not one to stand by when a loved one is sick, and she can tell how much stress Glowfalcon is under. And despite his protests, she shoved herself into the medicine den and declared she would be a temporary medicine cat while Sky Moss is in the nursery. She knew he needed the help, and she is the only cat with enough experience to do it. Although her main motive is loving, her second motive is a little more selfish, as she wants to be near Cinderglint to make sure her best friend is okay. She and Glowfalcon have a system now where she will run out and do errands outside the camp so he can focus on the patient, and that works well for her. Some cats also can't help but be amused by seeing her stern side when she's healing them. It's the only time it comes out, and it's obviously inherited from Glowfalcon. He's a little amused by seeing it, but not as amused when she turns it on him to make him eat and get some rest. Sky Moss approves. Last but not least of the warriors is the ambitious Puddlethorn. This kid has had it rough. His mother was one of the few cats on the mountain who was very aggressive and didn't get along with the other cats, not even in a tentative peace. She would attack anyone who came near and isolated her kit from the other kits running around on the mountain. During the earthquake, his mother was injured and couldn't escape the rockfall in time and died in front of him. Heartbroken, Puddlekit was taken into the clan with nowhere else to go. Although he quickly found a friend in Flaxkit, Puddlekit was still nervous and afraid of this new life, especially after being so isolated for so long. Flaxkit was the one who dragged him out on adventures and made him feel a little more welcomed in the clan. His new life in the clan started out rough as well, as he felt very isolated and afraid, but thankfully he quickly found a friend in Flaxkit, who dragged the more nervous Puddlekit on adventures and helped him feel more at home in the clan. But he still couldn't help but feel lonely, especially with cats like Silk Creek and Glowfalcon snapping at the two kids. But a lot of the older cats seemed to single out Puddlekit in particular. The clan was so busy recovering from the earthquake in the first few moons that nobody stood up for him except for Flaxkit. Luckily, he found a father figure in Dash Nudge, who was his mentor and treats him as one of his own kits. Puddlepaw didn't realize how much he needed that until he actually got it. Puddlepaw even broke down on patrol once, admitting that he felt like a failure with the way the older cats treated him. And Dash Nudge comforted him and reminded him of just how much he provides for the clan, but that it didn't matter either way because Dash Nudge and Flaxpaw will always be there for him. He needed this comfort more than he could ever admit, and is proud to call Dash Nudge his adoptive father. This rough childhood unfortunately led to Puddlepaw becoming ambitious. He tends to be stoic and rather quiet, except around Dash Nudge. And the reason I didn't mention Flaxpaw was because towards the end of the moon, after he became a warrior, he actually started pulling away from her. He's working hard constantly, and as a kit, he was always compared to her, and she's the one who always stood up for him and was the one to take initiative. He doesn't want his achievements to be watered down, and he wants to prove he can be a warrior of his own right. But this need to prove himself means that he has been staying away from Flaxpaw. He feels like if he relies on her too much, then people will treat him like they did when he was younger. Because of this, he spends most of his time trying to prove himself to the clanmates who doubted him by going on patrols and helping out around camp. But he also spends a lot of time in the nursery. He's still reeling over the idea of having 4 new little siblings, and is a little awkward around the young kits. He is very happy to be their big brother, though, and is very happy to be a part of Dash Nudge's family. Despite his new family and his ambition, he still thinks about Flaxpaw a lot, but something is holding him back from going to her. Whether it be fear or just his ambition in general, he isn't sure. Our only apprentice right now is the unfortunate childish Flaxpaw. She is another orphan kit from the earthquake, and a lot more boisterous than Puddlekit was. She yelled at any adult who was mean to her friend, and always pushed them to go on adventures, including sneaking out of camp and getting scolded. She's had a rough apprenticeship. As mentioned above, she was Swallow Mallow's apprentice, and still is, technically. It has left her very inexperienced, not only because of the injuries, but actually because the injury got infected, so she was stuck in the medicine den for a long time. She's actually older than Puddlethorn, and yet the only apprentice left. She feels very lonely in the empty apprentice's den, and even more lonely in the medicine den during her injuries with the stern Glow Falcon. Visits from Puddlethorn helped, but like I said, he's been visiting less and less. She tried to understand where he was coming from, as she knew about his ambition from the beginning, and she knew he wanted to prove himself to the clan, but still, she feels left behind. She's seen how much Puddlethorn has grown up, and while she's proud of him, she feels stuck in the past, and left behind. She wants to reach out again, but she's scared to. At the same time, Puddlethorn hasn't reached out either, and she can't help but wonder why. As for our elders, let's start with the shameless Little Knight. She was there for the earthquake, losing her son in the rock slide, but thankfully her grandchild, Cinder Glint, survived. With her aching joints, she knew she couldn't do much for the clan, but she is shameless enough that she just kind of plopped down right in the clan and declared that she and her kit weren't going anywhere anytime soon. Gee, I wonder where Cinder Glint got it from. Despite joining as an elder, she does her best to help around camp, and is also a very good kit sitter and storyteller. Even the oldest of the warriors can't wait to hear her next story, and she enjoys telling tall tales to the younger cats whenever they ask for it. She's quite worried about her granddaughter, but can't visit due to her age and Glow Falcon's rules. She trusts the medicine cat and Blue Ears to watch over her grandchild, though, and who can blame her if she teases Blue Ears about her crush every now and then. Her granddaughter might not notice right now, but Little Knight sure does. Our second elder is the retired Deputy Weasel Knight. She was the final of the 3 cats who helped Peach Star during the earthquake, and the only one to accept her request to be deputy, even though she always planned to retire eventually. She did her best, but did get a little irritated with Peach Star's indecisiveness at times. She also trained the strange Blue Paw, but was thankfully only amused by the kit's antics instead of annoyed. She was unsure if her goofy apprentice could really focus on 2 trainings at once, but supported her regardless. After all, Blue Paw was the very first cat to get past Glow Falcon's stern exterior, and that much was an achievement in and of itself. She actually also ran into the badger that killed Peach Star the moon earlier on a solo patrol, which left her reeling with guilt after Peach Star lost a life. Even though Peach Star told her it wasn't her fault, and she was smart to not take on a badger alone, she can't help the guilt she feels. The guilt is part of the reason she decided to retire after the first year. She can see how much more sure of herself Peach Star is after the incident, and knows that the leader should have a younger cat who can keep up with her and the rest of the clan. She spends her time giving advice to Swallow Mallow here and there, and enjoys helping Little Knight come up with stories to tell the kits. Thankfully, she's already used to Little Knight's antics after dealing with Blue Paw and Cinder Paw for so long. Although she's worried about the green cough outbreak, she trusts her clan to take care of it, especially Blue Ears. So yeah, that's year 1 of RubbleClan. They're doing pretty good so far, except for the green cough situation and the drama between a few other cats, but I'm excited to see where things go. Before we end things, I also want to mention that I made 3 other clans to fill out the world, an idea inspired by Galaxy Clan, and I actually drew their leaders, so here they are. Hound Clan is run by the bloodthirsty Hush Star, who is cruel and runs the clan with a dictator-like attitude. I actually do plan to make a whole video on Hound Clan as well, because they have some drama going on right now, including being the first clan to have a cat go to the Dark Forest, which is cat hell for those of you who don't read the books. Root Clan is run by the elderly Falling Star. The clan is pretty strict and also on the smaller side. They're the only clan who still holds on to the medicine cats can't have kits rule, as their territories are pretty open and exposed, and they live in tunnels and need to build dens whenever the clan gets bigger. They are also very careful and have a few odd rules due to their weird territory. As for our final clan, Mist Clan is run by the daring Snail Star. Despite some struggles, this clan is currently the biggest and only getting bigger. They currently have 10 kits in the nursery. 10 kits! Snail Star couldn't be happier to see his clan thriving, and is the most laid back of all the leaders next to Peach Star. With that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's very different from what I normally do, but I had a lot of fun with it. If you did enjoy, let me know. I'd love to continue with more years in this clan if you guys like. Also, let me know if you have any suggestions for future warrior names, whether it be for Tigger or for the apprentices or kits. We're getting new kits next year too, so I'm excited to meet them and whoever else might join the clan. But until then, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourself, watch out for badgers, and have a good day.